We got a new prop at DraftKings, and it's will any division have 4 teams in said division make the playoffs? It's possible now because you expand those divisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple interesting possibilities. Now, if you want to say yes, one division can get all 4 in, 11-1. So it's not likely. But I think, we're talking about the AL East in baseball. Like you got the super division right there. We thought the division of death would be the AFC West last year. I don't think there's any chance the Raiders can make the postseason unless they win the division. I don't know that that's going to happen. I do think there's a scenario where you could look at the AFC North and the NFC East and possibly get all 4 in.
Yeah, if we power rank these divisions, the bottom, we start for sure with the NFC West. There's no way both the Cardinals and Rams are getting in.
No shot.
Like no shot. So dead bottom. Then you go to the AFC South, where it is very, very highly unlikely that the Texans and the Colts are able to figure out a way to get in.
Yeah, I can't see a scenario all 4 there.
Yeah,
so
to get in. So
ixnay those.
Wipe them completely out as well. Now we head over to the NFC East, in which do we think it would take 2 teams really, really, really vastly overperforming in the Giants and the Commanders in a division in which the top 2 teams, it's so top heavy that you're probably not splitting those games even with them. You're probably losing, 3 of the 4 to the Cowboys and Eagles. I don't see that one. That one seems very unlikely to me.
Let's for Team Sean King here. The Commanders, what were they, an 8-win team a year ago? You look at the win totals, it's down 6.5. I feel like they've gotten better on paper. Of course, the question mark here is Taylor Heineke to Sam Howell, right?
Yeah.
That's what the bet is. Do you believe that they're good enough to win? Could 8 and 9 backdoor you into a postseason? Almost did last year until they had that tie with the Giants. Mm-hmm. And then, you know what? I got more concerns maybe about the Giants than I do the Commanders this year. Because
interesting.
I really do. And the only reason why is everybody loves Dable, so do I. But they won a lot of close games last year, and I don't know that they can keep up that pace for year 2. Conversely, I think the Cowboys and Eagles are going to be exactly who we think they are, Denny Green. I think we know who they are. Those are playoff teams. So if the Commanders can play, if Sam Howell and Sean King on the network talks about him a lot, he likes him, really likes him. They seem to really like him.
Yeah.
They've got weapons. They've got a defense. Is that recipe good enough for them they were 8-1 a year ago, to win 9 games, win 1 more game, and 1 less tie?
I think we can wax the NFC South as well.
Done.
Because we're looking at 4 different teams whose win totals are basically right at 500. So it's like you're not going to get all 4 teams just drastically. So that kind of leaves us with the AFC North, the NFC North, the AFC West, right, as divisions in which we think this could actually go down. I'm going to say not the AFC East because you have an under on the Jets as it is anyway. I have an under on the Patriots. Like we would have to be dead wrong on 2 teams within that division.
I mean, it's plausible. Again, what we have to try to figure out is what does that number look like for the 4th team to get in? Mm-hmm. Is it 10 wins? Like that feels like a lot for the Patriots, or even for me. I don't see the Jets. That's why I played the under 9.5. I don't think they're going to be a 10-win team. So I'm with you. It feels like that would be a tougher one. Could the Raiders in the West? No. Raiders can't win 10 games, right? This roster, the way it's compiled, I don't see them winning 10. I really do get back to the AFC North, and I go, that's where it's plausible. Because the Steelers are the 4th team in the division. Look at that win total.
The only reason why a team in the NFC or maybe a division in the NFC is at least somewhat interesting to me is because we could have a team in theory, because again, none of these teams I think anyone thinks are going to be actually really good.
No.
We could have a team win the NFC South with a losing record. So we have a team that could be bleeding wins to other teams inside, and that they still make the playoffs, but it doesn't really matter because you got to think for every win that another team gets is taken away from a chance of someone getting in the playoffs. But we have a pretty bad division. I mean, listen, Baker Mayfield I think will be fine. He does have Mike Evans and he does have Chris Godwin, but let's be for real. The defense is completely trashed. They're going to lose.
They got one guy. They got 45.
They're going to lose a bunch of games. I think the Panthers will be fine. but it's still a rookie quarterback, and there's all the things going on there. We have no idea if Derek Carr's any good or not. We'll find out. Here with the Saints, maybe he just needed to change the scenery, and if that's not the case, then he might be bad. And then, of course, with the Falcons, Desmond Ridder, your guess is as good as mine.
Right.
Like we think he might be at least an average.
Roster looks better, but Ridder is a huge question mark.
So I mean, I don't know. I know that you don't like the Bears. You just kind of you look at that NFC North, and it's like, could all of those teams kind of end up around 10 wins? And I kind of wonder if they could.
It's not even just the Bears. It's the Vikings for me, too. And, with the Lions' defense, and I know they played better down the stretch, are they really trustable? So there's so many holes and question marks. And the only one I really have about the Packers, I love the running back situation. I like their young receivers. They have stars on defense. They got to scheme that thing a little bit better because I think the talent is there. It's just Jordan Love. I don't know yet, right? So the Bears' defense isn't ready. It's not playoff ready for me. Justin Fields is going to have to be dynamic, so dynamic that he lifts all ties. He could, but he's going to have to lift them all for them to get in. And then the Vikings, are you going to play any defense this year? Or is it all going to be KC8, throwing it to JJ and Jordan Addison on the outside, and you got rid of Dalvin Cook? Like, I don't know how that's a recipe for a playoff success.
Well, I look here, and so for me, the AFC North would really only have to have the Steelers sneak in because for me anyway, I already had, and you can go, if you look on our Pro Football Guide where we did make predictions on what we thought was going to happen, I have Cincinnati winning the division, but I also have the Browns and Ravens as wild card teams, right? So for me, for this to happen, it would just have to be the Steelers kind of overachieving a little bit and then being that team to get in there. Listen, is 11-1 the odds we really want to be betting on this? Because it is fairly unlikely that you do get all these teams to play at a level in which, like you said, you're going to have to be over 500.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to at least win 9.
Right.
But most likely 10. And I just don't know if we're going to be able to get there with 4 teams in the same division.
I play the Ravens plus 275 to win that division. I think the division is going to be murderer's row. I really do. And I do believe that the Steelers are going to have a top 5 defense. So I think that's the only playable one. I'll give a homage, just a hint of a modicum of a chance for the NFC East because the conference is down. So you could have that possibility. I'd love to have that. And I get what you say about the North. I'm just not sure that all 4 teams can make the leaps we're all expecting. Whereas in the East, they're kind of there. The Giants were a playoff team, Cowboys and Eagles a year ago, and the Commanders were right there in the periphery looking in. So they were 8-1. So that would be the logical one. It's just the rest of the AFC. It's so hard to handicap. What does the East look like for all 4 of the North get in? Do they really beat each other up enough? But I'll tell you, man, you sleeping on the Steelers, sleep on them at your own risk because that defense might be the best in football this year.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing if those playmakers. I mean, that's the other thing about this Steelers team. It was a little bit under the radar last year, and there was certainly some growing pains and some struggles. But what is Pickens going to look like? You already got Deontay Johnson. There are some playmakers there, and if we can have Kenny Pickett just play to the level,
you got a horse at running back,
right? I mean, it's going to be a super interesting team. I think the Steelers are the team that I think maybe has the widest range of outcomes to me because if Pickett plays super poorly, they could be a bad team, but if he plays good, I think they could be a team in which we're going, wow, look at that Steelers team.
Did you know Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record?
Oh, never.
I mean, I know that's new information.
Yeah.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.